With a fresh approach, www.999wefm.com. WeFM News, online, on demand.
Good afternoon and welcome to WeFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
Sensational savings are here this summer at Courts Optical. Get a free pair of designer sunglasses with your glasses purchase. Now that's sensational. Free sunglasses and your glasses, and you can get it all with no cash. Choose from our flexible credit terms from 3 to 24 months to repay. At Courts Optical, the savings are sensational. You don't want to miss these deals. Conditions apply. See in store for details. Courts Optical. Value you can see.
Welcome back to WeFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says a decision took place in Cabinet on Wednesday after he received recommendations from the Chief Medical Officer in relation to an amended regime for frontline workers, persons in health, teachers, certain categories of public servants, immigration and customs, and those at the airport. Prime Minister Gonsalves outlined the terms for the rehiring of teachers that had decided to take the COVID-19 vaccine to remain employed with the government.
The teachers and other adult staff in learning institutions, strict adherence to all of the following measures. For unvaccinated teachers and other adult staff, 100% masks, spacing between cohorts, strict cohorting. Cohorting meaning if you're in the same, you all stick together. You know that as far as practicable, I know the children will go and take their break and the like, but while you're in the classroom, proper ventilation, screening testing, and a testing regime to stay on the job. The details of the testing regime would be announced by the Health Services Subcommittee of NEMO. And in this layered approach, there will be no requirement to be 100% vaccinated. Of course, we're going to encourage the vaccination and hope to get 100%.
That was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Dr. Gonsalves said those teachers who are interested in employment, who had chosen not to follow their requirements, will have to write to the Ministry of Education to indicate whether they want to be employed for the new period. Magnetic resonance imaging MRI, a new game changer for diagnostic services here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, is expected to be on the ground and operational by year end. This was announced by Minister of Health, Wellness and the Environment, Sinclair Jimmy Prince, during the official handover ceremony for the brand new CT scan machine on Thursday, July 21st, 2022. The minister said that the machine will be procured through a donor foundation that has already formally agreed to provide the machine, and advanced plans for receiving are already afoot. We have already been making preparations to receive this very vital piece of equipment, and we are already receiving small pieces of related equipment to go with it, Prince explained. The minister noted that once MRI services can be accessed locally, the burden of air travel, accommodation, and other related expenses will be eliminated, a welcomed prospect for many persons requiring this service. Still on the local scene, on Thursday, July 28, 2022, Calico fisherman Mr. Nelson Maguire became the first beneficiary of the newly launched Fleet Expansion Program. Mr. Maguire received a Yamaha 85 horsepower boat engine valued at $27,900. This event took place at the Fisheries Conference Room. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Saboto Caesar, noted that with the increased demand for fish, it is critical to guarantee that fishermen's vessels are fully equipped to harness the available resources. He hopes for further collaboration with the Kingston Cooperative Credit Union, the KCCU, and that fishermen would regard this program as a stepping stone towards upgrading to fishing trawlers. The minister also revealed that Cabinet has resolved to pursue the signing of memorandums of understanding with the various Caribbean countries interested in transshipping fish through St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This approach will be taken to ensure that the requisite monitoring and reporting mechanisms are in place to satisfy global standards as we collectively fight against illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing. On to news in the region. Grenada's Prime Minister Dickon Mitchell has told members of the business community that his administration is not prepared to accept no as his administration pushes through with a transformative agenda. As a new government and one that has championed transformation, my challenge is not to get bogged down with the minutiae of grandeur, details that does not advance or transform our country and can only do so by having a clear sense of what our goals are, what our policies are, and to not accept no as an answer, he told members of the Grenada Chamber of Industry and Commerce earlier this week. So I appreciate some of the things that we have championed will be met with resistance. That is the nature of change, that there will be friction, but I can assure you that we will consult. We are happy to debate. We are happy to hear the other side of the coin, but we are not prepared to accept is no for an answer, said Mitchell, who was the guest speaker of the event, which brought together dozens of business owners. Mitchell, who became Prime Minister during the June 23rd general election, said that his administration will be finding answers and solutions to existing problems and challenges in the system. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and the Guyanese President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali held high-level talks on Wednesday as both countries sought to deepen their relationship. The talks focused on food security, energy security, and access to development financing. These were three short-term areas of cooperation that the U.S. Caribbean Committee, which was launched by the Biden-Harris administration at the Summit of the Americas, had identified for urgent attention. Ali described the teleconference meeting as refreshing as it confronted the big issues. This conversation with the Vice President and President started at the Summit of the Americas. It has advanced rapidly. So I will say that our conversation was refreshing. It was beneficial both to Guyana and the US and CARICOM. It confronted the big issues. It was very frank and open, very respectful, and it outlines the vision and supports the vision that I've been talking about, Ali said. Ali noted the exchange was necessary for advancing the relations between the two countries. On the international scene, a conservative member of the U.S. Supreme Court has mocked world leaders who criticized last month's ruling that overturned American abortion rights. Justice Samuel Alito, who wrote the ruling, dismissed criticism from a host of prominent figures, including UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson. He joked that Mr. Johnson, who leaves office in September, had paid the price for arguing against the verdict.
I had the honor this term of writing, I think, the only Supreme Court decision in the history of that institution that has been lambasted by a whole string of foreign leaders. One of these was former Prime Minister Boris Johnson, but he paid the price. What really wounded me was when the Duke of Sussex addressed the United Nations and seemed to compare the decision, whose name may not be spoken, with the Russian attack on Ukraine.
That was conservative member of the U.S. Supreme Court, Justice Samuel Alito. Mr. Alito, a devout Catholic, was at the time speaking at a conference in Rome. And finally, in sports, St. Vincent and the Grenadines will compete at the 2022 Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, England. It will be the team's 13th appearance at the Games. On July 8, 2022, a team of 21 athletes, 12 men and 9 women, will be competing in 5 sports were named. Shane Cadogan and Mikisha Welcome were the country's flag bearers during the opening ceremony. More than 5,000 athletes representing 72 nations and territories are competing in 280 medal events, over a packed 11 days. Women's T20 cricket, 3x3 basketball, and 3x3 wheelchair basketball are making their games debuts. This year's event features the largest number of events for women and parasport athletes in the game's history. This has been WeFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WeFM's 3 p.m. News. WeFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited.
Family fun days are here. Now is the time for movie marathons, tasty treats, and outdoor fun. At Courts, we have the TVs, appliances, grills, pools, and more to make your home the place to be. Get it all today with no cash when you shop with Courts Ready Finance. Family fun days are on now. Get what you need at Courts, bringing value home. Offer ends July 23rd. Conditions apply.
Brick by brick, piece by piece, building with technology, helping wealth increase, starting small, building the future, doing more every day, doing more together. BOSVG, the bank we count on. BOSVG, our one bank together we're strong. Our nation's bank, standing long and proud. One bank, one voice, ain't it loud? BOSVG. Hey, building our future. BOSVG. Doing more together.
BOSVG. Doing more.